Hello, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. Alright, so I got another Pure Fiction video for you guys today, and I have to say, for this particular season of Pure Fiction, I didn't really put much effort into it in terms of creativity. I sort of just went with the strongest teams I had available and pretty much brute forced it, especially the second half. There's just too much going on right now. It's tax season, and I have to get to doing that. Everyone loves doing taxes after all. Epic 7 has a couple balance patches coming up and a new limited character. I'm also doing some account maintenance, so eventually I gotta update my account for Epic 7. And even for Honkai Star Rail, I still haven't finished the main storyline quests or the events. So I am behind on everything. That's why I kind of just didn't want to put too much time and effort into this particular season of Pure Fiction. But regardless, we still cleared it with relatively high scores. And for this season of Pure Fiction, the theme is all about AoE ultimates. As you can see here, after allies use ultimates to attack enemy targets, every enemy target hit additionally accumulates 5 grit for all allies. So you want to be bringing characters with a lot of AoE ultimates on your teams. As for the teams I used, on the first half, we have my Acheron team featuring Acheron, Kafka, mainly because this half, all the enemies are weak to lightning. I thought about bringing the Kafka and Black Swan team along with maybe Acheron, the Dockeron team, but I thought about it. There aren't too many enemies weak to wind, so I feel like Black Swan would have been more of a liability than a benefit, unfortunately. And I also ended up doing a sort of a different Kafka build, as you'll see when I go over my character builds. Then we have Robin as our support, that buffs both Kafka and Acheron. And then we have Fu Xuan as our sustainer, who also has an AoE ultimate for the theme or the buff of this season of Pure Fiction. As for the buff on the first half, I chose the third one. When entering Surging Grit, which is that like buffed up state, it activates the ultimate of the first character on the team lineup, which is Acheron. And it increases their damage dealt by their ultimate during the Surging Grip by 50%. So Acheron gets a gigantic ultimate boost. This is an absolutely insane buff for any Acheron user or any character that uses their ultimate as their main source of damage. As for the second half, I basically brute forced it with my Firefly team. Again, even though they didn't do that well compared to the first half, they still got the job done. So for the second half, we have Firefly, Ruan Mei, the Harmony Trailblazer, and Fugue. I decided to go with a sustainless run as this team is fairly bulky, and the weakness break and break extensions from Ruan Mei keeps the team fairly healthy and alive throughout the fight. Unfortunately, none of them are actually, other than Argenti and one of his mobs, are weak to fire, so thank God Firefly can implant the fire weakness. This side honestly is best suited for characters like Herta, the newest, well, not the newest anymore, but the second most recent limited 5-star character, as well as Argenti himself. Everyone's weak to physical as well. You can also run, if you're a Clara player, you can also run Clara, Yoon Lee as well. Those two are really good physical characters for this particular season of Pure Fiction. So those two are not bad as well. As for the buff, we went with the first one. It's just a speed buff in general. And whenever allies use their skills to attack enemies, every enemy hit accumulates grit. Firefly has a blast attack. Harmony Trailblazer has a bounce, so that hits quite a few targets. And then Fugue has a blast as well, so this one's okay. Doesn't really increase too much damage, but the speed definitely does help. Okay, and that's pretty much it. As usual, I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay and commentary. Alright, so for the first half, we have Robin's technique, Fu Xuan's technique, and then we initiate the fight with Acheron's technique. Here we're going to skill up with Robin. Trash Can's going to hit Robin, which is honestly the best target. More energy regen for her. Here with Kafka we're going to skill. So I have my Kafka built up a little bit different. Well, actually not a little bit different, quite a bit different than the traditional Kafka. I decided to go with Kritka, so we have her on a crit DPS build rather than a traditional DOT build on her. I just wanted to see if it was better because we're running her with Fu Xuan. So that's some extra crit rate. And then I feel like without like any other DOTs to detonate other than I guess Acheron's, what do you call it? Shock. Putting her on DOT wouldn't be as effective. And there aren't any particular DOT buffs in this season of Pure Fiction. And there is one issue with this team comp, if you guys haven't noticed already. It's going to be skill point management. Both Kafka and Acheron are skill point negative. and Fuxuan and Robin are basically slightly skill point positive. So we're going to run out of skill points eventually. What ends up happening is I will prioritize Kafka's skill over Acheron's skill because Acheron will still gain 1 Crimson Nut if she uses her basic due to her light cone and her talent. Alright, first half or first wave is almost done here. It's done. On to the second wave. And this middle elite mob is quite tanky, I have to admit. It took us quite a few cycles. As you can see here, we're having issues now. We don't have any skill points, so I decided to just basic with Acheron here. And the reason, and another thing is, the basic can trigger Kafka's follow-up attack, so that will also give Acheron the Crimson Knot stack she would have been missing otherwise if she used her skill. The only downside to this is, obviously, I think if we used Acheron's skill, we would be doing more damage. Like, the skill damage itself would be more than Acheron's basic plus the follow-up attack from Kafka, because I don't have Acheron's, as you can see, we basicked again. I don't have Acheron's basic skill fully traced up, nor do I have Kafka's follow-up attack fully traced up. Right, there we go. That pops that. Fuxuan's gonna heal up a little bit here. Alright, and we are out of the Surging Tide phase, unfortunately. Here I'm deciding whether I should skill or basic. I figured basic is probably better. We generate a lot of energy anyways. And I want to save some of those skill points for Acheron. If we have the skill points, I would still like to use Acheron's skill over the basic attack. We're going to save the ultimate on Robin here. We don't need to refresh the matrix, so here I am just going to weakness break this mob. Here we have enough skill points, so I'm going to go for the skill on Acheron. Depending on which target I choose. Go for the Archer mob here. And we pop Robin's ult immediately afterward to advance everyone forward. And then here's the Acheron ult. Into the Kafka ult. This should trigger the Surging Grit, or that state we go into. And that will reactivate Acheron's ultimate, and this is going to do huge damage. Boom, boom, boom. Easily 2 million. We got an achievement too, apparently, for that. On to the last wave. We have Kakoli here. Probably going to do this mob here. Yep. We need to refresh the matrix here. So we're going to be out of skill points, unfortunately, for Acheron, but that's fine. Like I said before, by using her basic, we can still get 2 stacks thanks to Kafka's follow-up attack here. And I have to say, they really made the mobs, even like the trash mobs in Pure Fiction, the new this new version of Pure Fiction, they made them a lot tankier. Like, I'm doing like about 50 to 60k per skill here on both Acheron and Kafka, and it's not even like doing any damage to the mobs. It's like doing maybe like 25% of their HP. Now here's the ultimate again. If you do 2 million or close to 3 million, then it'll kill the mobs, obviously. But if you're doing anything shy of, like, I would say 500k, those mobs are, they literally take no damage. They're like actually so tanky compared to previous versions of Pure Fiction. Unfortunately, Robin has exited her singing state. Now we're going to use the skill because I noticed that our energy is fairly low. And I do want to get in one more ultimate before the end of this cycle and the end of the run. Kakoli, of course, targets the worst possible target on my team. Alright, there's a skill from Kafka. Don't need to refresh the matrix, so we're just going to pop someone here. Alright, Acheron's got her ultimate now. And I believe I'm going to pop it here. I don't see a reason not to. I guess we will hold on to it and then pop it. Alright. Robin should be getting her ultimate fairly soon. There she has it. We're still gonna wait. We're gonna hold off on it until near the end of the cycle. Good, they're hitting Fu Xuan. That's more energy for Fu Xuan and more Crimson Nut stacks. And we get the ultimate as well. This will help us gain some grit value. 80. We just need one more ultimate. So after this attack from Kafka, I'm going to pop Robin's ultimate. Choosing which target, I think... Which target did I choose? This one? Maybe I think I should have chosen the wolf that was about to die. He has like little to no HP. I thought the DOT here was going to kill off the wolf. That's probably why I didn't choose it, but I should have played it safe and went with the wolf instead. That would have generated a new mob as well. So there's Robin's ult. Now we are just going to pick a mob here. He dies to the follow-up from Kafka. Here we're going to use Acheron's skill. Probably to the two wolves off to the left here. And immediately pop the ultimate. This will also trigger the grit value thing. I forget, the surging tide or something, whatever it's called. There you go, 100%. We get advance forward. And we also get Acheron's ultimate once again. Or we don't get advance forward, but we do get the ultimate again, so it's almost the same thing. This will do over 2 million. And we also have Kafka's ultimate coming up. This should do quite a bit. There's 800k, not bad. There you go. That's the first half. On to the second half. We have the Trailblazers technique, from May's technique, Fugue's technique, and then we start off the fight with Firefly's technique. Alright, so for this half, we're going to buff up the Harmony Trailblazer with Fugue, as there are a few of the mobs that are weak to Imaginary, but a lot of the mobs are not. And I have my Trailblazer on Dance Dance Dance, so the more often we weakness break enemies, the more often his ultimate will be up, therefore allowing us to advance forward and cheese the Pure Fiction. We're trying to get rid of this trash can because he does do a lot of damage, and on this particular half, we don't have a sustainer, so we want to minimize the amount of damage we take, no matter what. Alright, here's Firefly's ultimate. Alright, there goes the trash can. Onto our reset, we're going to probably hit the newly generated mobs. Yep.
No holding back.
Fugue's going to finish off this one mob here. As you can see, it's not a lot of damage now, but they do inflict debuffs on us, and the chip damage will eventually add up. I think I'm prioritizing the cannoneers, or the mob soldiers with the cannons, because they do a lot of bounce damage. And I think they're the ones that inflict the bleed. I could be wrong, though. A skill on the Trailblazer here, and that will proc the Resurging Tide. Trash can kicks Fugue in the face. Ouch! I think either Fugue or the Harmony Trailblazer is the most frail or squishiest member on my team. I have Ruan Mei next to Firefly because she is the tankiest in terms of stats. And Firefly has the highest aggro value out of everyone on the teammates. So that's why I put her next to Firefly. This half we have a Fire Golem, which is a bit unfortunate because it has Fire Resist. You can implant the Fire Weakness onto the Fire Golem, but he takes a significant less amount of damage from Firefly and Fugue. So that makes this half a little bit less, what do you call it, favorable towards Fire Break teams. If you have an ice or physical character that deals a lot of damage like Herta and Argenti, like I mentioned before, then you shouldn't have any issue with the second half of Pure Fiction. The best target for the enemy mobs, honestly, to target would be Firefly, because she is quite tanky, has damage reduction, and she heals every time she uses her skill. So, what do you call it? Best target would be Firefly. One thing to note on the second half, if you're running a sustainless team or a team without a cleanser, the mobs that are the females with the, like, I don't know what that is. Is that like a... It's a weird dual blade. Or not, double-edged blade, I guess. I'll call it that. Anyways, the female adds here, They will attack your allies, and there's a chance for them to inflict a debuff called like reverberation or something. It's basically a what do you call it? Debuff that lands on your teammates, and if they get hit by another attack, it will basically cause them to get stunned or hard CC. So that's why on this half, you want to actually prioritize the female ads so your team doesn't get CC'd. My team actually does end up eventually getting CC'd. There you go. It's called reverberation or something. So as you can see, it's on my Fugue right now. It has that little symbol with the stars on her. She's currently not hard CC yet, but the next time she takes an attack, like right here, from the Cannoneer, she'll get hard CC, unfortunately. And she won't be able to move or use her ultimate. Same thing with Firefly. I actually didn't even notice that my Firefly got hard CC'd there. So that is a bit unfortunate. That is actually the worst target to get hard CC. Alright, both of them are back to normal now. So there's that. So just a little advice. Always prioritize the female ads over the Cannoneers. The Cannoneers, they're annoying. They just do a lot of bounce damage. But that hard CC, if landed on the wrong characters or teammates, can break your run. Alright, now it's Firefly's turn. We get our ultimate back. We're going to immediately pop it. Here I'm deciding which mob to target. They're all Cannoneers, so honestly it doesn't really matter. And I don't think we have enough damage to finish off the Fire Golem regardless, because he's resistant to fire like I mentioned before. Here's Fugue. I believe we're going to buff up the Harmony Trailblazer once again and then immediately pop the ultimate. And this should get us into the last phase. There we go. And we also entered the Resurging Tide. So this is going to do a lot of damage to Argenti and his swords.
Take your positions.
Going to use the skill on the Harmony Trailblazer. Not sure why we didn't pop the ultimate here. I guess I'm waiting for Firefly to take her turn so we can advance forward her with the dance, dance, dance. Yep, that's what we ended up doing.
No holding back.
Choosing a target here. We choose Argenti as the main target. Gonna choose Argenti again, I believe. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. We're gonna pop Ron-Mei's ultimate. And Fugue is hanging in there. She's probably gonna go soon though. But the fact that we managed to sustain all the way to the, what do you call it? The last wave and the last cycle means this team works fairly well. Right, there's Ron-Mei doing work. Oh, Fugue is almost gone. She gets in one more blast attack. She gets one more attack before it's over for her. I think we just finish off the two swords to the right here, right? Yep. Nice. Unfortunately, the damage boost is wasted on her since she's about to die here shortly.
This is more than a battle.
There we go. Some more extra damage. Damage boost. We have to refresh the skill on Ron-Mei. Pop the Harmony Trailblazer's ultimate for that advance forward. And we use the skill. We exit the Resurging Tide, unfortunately. And there goes my Fugue, Ripperoni. Oh well, the cycle is almost over anyway. She has done a really good job in the second half. Good job, Fugue. You've done your part. Go. We're gonna do a last bit of damage here. We're gonna finish off this ad here, and even Firefly will exit the, what do you call it, her state basically, and she won't get another turn. And Ron-Mei is just gonna do a small little bop here for a little bit of damage. And there you go. That's the second half. We finished with 66k points. Okay, let me go over my characters and their builds real quick. Starting off with Acheron. These are her stats. Light Cone is her signature Light Cone at S1. Traces all maxed out but her basic. Funny enough, I used her basic more than her skill during this run. These are her relics. A slightly faster build than my traditional Acheron that I use for all the other game modes, like MOC and Apocalyptic Shadow. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 2. Alright, next is her teammate Kafka. I had a spicy build for her. These are her stats. She's on a crit build instead of her traditional DOT build. Not sure if it actually worked out better than if I went a regular traditional DOT build. This is her Lycone, Good Night Sleep Well at S5. Traces. These are her relics. I have her on the relatively new 4-piece set, the Scholar set that gives crit rate, increases damage dealt by the skill and ultimate, and further increases the damage by the skill when you use an ultimate. I don't have a set, unfortunately, on her Planar Sphere and Link Rope. As for Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Alright, next is Robin. It's just my traditional Robin build. These are her stats. Lyconis, but the battle isn't over at S1. These are her traces, and this is another reason why I kind of wanted to try out a crit Kafka build, is because Robin actually gives a little bit of crit damage boost to everyone, so I didn't want this to be a complete waste along with the crit rate buff from Fu Shen. So I figured if I build her as more of a traditional crit DPS rather than a DOT DPS, we might do a little bit better. Not sure if it actually worked out, however. Anyways, these are Robin's relics. I just have her on a two-piece attack set. The Musketeer one and the Prisoner set. And then we have her on a Fleet of the Ageless set. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Alright, last on the first half is Fu Shen. These are her stats. Lycone is Trend of the Universal Market at S4. Traces that I should probably be maxing out, but once again, I'm being stingy with resources. These are her relics. I have her on a 4-piece Longevous Disciple set, just for a little bit extra crit rate and a little bit chip damage. Let's be honest here, she's not really doing that much damage. So we'll just say it's chip damage. And a Fleet of the Ageless set for her Planar Sphere and Rope. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Okay, moving on to the second team. We have Firefly here. These are her stats. Lycone is on the Fall of an Aeon at S5. Traces almost maxed out other than the basic. Relics. As for Eidolons, she's at Eidolon 2. Alright, next is Ruan Mei. These are her stats. For her Lycone, I have her on Dance Dance Dance, the one at S1, because she doesn't get her ultimate up as often as the Harmony Trailblazer, and I still wanted the advance forward from her, so I figured this would be fine, and she does have enough break effect in her kit, so I didn't really need to give her a different Lycone. These are her traces, mostly maxed out. Maybe you could max out the defense nodes here in the future. These are her relics. I have her on a 2-piece speed set and a 2-piece break effect set. And then we have her on this energy regeneration set for the Planar Sphere and Link Rope. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Alright, and then we have the Harmony Trailblazer. These are his stats. For his Lycone, I have him also on Dance Dance Dance, but the one at Super Imposition level 4, as he has better and higher ultimate uptime, so he'll be able to spam this more often, allowing my team to advance forward, making the run a lot easier. These are his traces, almost maxed out. Debating whether or not I want to max this out, because eventually I will unlock the Remembrance Trailblazer. I don't know how often I'll be able to use the Harmony Trailblazer anymore. These are his relics. He's on a 4-piece Watchmaker set and a 2-piece Talia set. As for Eidolons, he's at Eidolon 6. And last but not least on the second half is Fugue. These are her stats. Lycone is the Sweaty Lycone at S3 for a little extra defense break. These are her traces. I will eventually max out probably just the skill and the break effect nodes, and maybe the speed, the break effect nodes and the speed, obviously. Maybe the HP for some survivability, so she doesn't die like she did on this Pure Fiction run. But that's gonna have to wait until the double trace event or double trace drop event. These are her relics. And finally, she's at Eidolon 0. Okay guys, well that's going to be it for this Honkai Star Rail video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.
Good times never last. Time to say bye.